think the biggest influence I had was working with Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah.
He legit is a comedic legend. I remember in rehearsal, he was still on book looking at his sides. He had to do this gigantic monologue where he's like low key like checking me because I'm not respecting the film. And he wasn't off book. And then 20 minutes later,
Yeah.
he delivered the greatest monologue I've ever witnessed.
You star in the Netflix series FUBAR, which is streaming right now. I got a chance to watch the first few episodes. I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun, especially your character. But for those who haven't watched it, how would you best describe this series?
FUBAR is the perfect thing for summer, right? For
Yeah,
the last 2 years, like we've been in a pandemic, been stuck in a house, but it is a feel-good show about family. It has the action, it has the comedy, and it's just something that everybody can enjoy.
absolutely right. And obviously, FUBAR stars Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is his first leading role in a scripted television series. So, what was it like working with him and having him on set?
First, it's great to be a part of history, right? Because Arnold
Right.
has a crazy resume, only movies. He's like, yo, I want to do this scripted series, and I get to be a part of it. Man,
Yeah.
it's unexplainable, man. It's beyond my wildest dreams, right? They say never meet your idols because you'll be disappointed, but Arnold surpassed everything possible. Like working with him every day was like a masterclass in humanity, in acting, and just showing up every day being your best self. So he made it feel like home, man.
Absolutely. And what was the biggest thing you learned from working with Arnold while being on FUBAR?
I think one of the things is you get to make a choice every day how you want to show up, right? He's
Yeah.
all about vision. And he says, like, vision, if you have a clear vision on where you want to go, no matter the ups and downs, you'll always be able to focus on that and find the joy in that. Cause he'll compare it to bodybuilding, like, hey, I got to do 4 more sets of squats. Like, some people would be upset about it. But for him, it's like, oh, 4 more sets of squats put me closer to my goal. So I approach life with that mentality now. So when something doesn't necessarily go my way, I realize it's just a stepping stone to get me closer to my goal.
Absolutely. And you play Barry on FUBAR, who's a CIA operations officer. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, Barry and Arnold's character been partners for over like 16 years in the show. Unfortunately, Barry has a heart condition, so he wasn't able to go out in the field. And through that, he started to get a little bit scary. So he's the guy in the chair who's always in Arnold's ear, making sure he's safe. And he is the only one who knows the secret of Arnold's daughter,
Mhm.
Luke and Emma both being in the CIA. So they come at heads with him, and it's not good for Barry.
Absolutely right. And one of the things that stand out with FUBAR for me is the lines you and Arnold say on the show, whether it's cats in the cradle or bats in the belfry. I really like that one. But
One is in the oven.
yeah, and that one too. But how much did you enjoy saying those phrases with Arnold?
Ah, man, Arnold is the man who has the legendary catchphrases. You can quote every
Oh
movie. So
yeah,
the potential that I now have a quotable with Arnold Schwarzenegger that people will remember forever, mind blowing, man.
of course. And overall, just how was the experience working on this series since it's one of the more popular series right now on Netflix?
The experience was amazing. I was the last one hired, the first one to shoot,
Mm.
and the last one to shoot. So
Oh
I
wow.
come from mostly a sitcom background. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, I have my schedule every week. It's the same. We're gonna do this thing. But literally, sometimes the shoot felt like FUBAR. It was all over the place. And I think that's what you get to feel. You get to feel that sense of urgency. And also it challenges you to show up better every day. And I think ultimately that's what the show is about, right? It's like when we think all things, aren't working out, there's always a silver lining. And through that struggle, it makes you stronger. And I think it gave us great performances, man.
And you have worn your share of hats over the last decade when it comes to the entertainment industry. I know you've been a host before and done some other things, even behind the camera. So, can you just talk a little bit about making the transition from working behind the scenes, behind the camera, to doing more work on screen?
Oh, absolutely. So when I first moved to LA, my goal was to act or host. I said, whatever door
Mm,
opens up
okay.
first is the door I'm gonna run through. I just happened to get an internship at Entertainment Tonight years ago, and that's what kind of started that. And my mentor, Kevin Frazier, said, if you learn how to be behind the camera and learn how to work everything behind the camera, it'll make you that much better in front. So as I start doing, hosting and journalist stuff, I still had that itch for acting. So I made a plan. I was like, yo, I'm out here every day writing stories, which acting is also a form of storytelling. How can I make something that's digestible for agents, for managers, and showrunners to see that I have comedic chops? So what I did is I start making social Instagram videos. Actually, started with movie junkets. I would ask, instead of asking just regular questions, I would do sketches.
Hmm.
And then I was like, all right, if I could start figuring out how to make this and show people that I know comedy, I know how to write a joke, I know how to set up a joke, I know how to land a joke, then I got it. So when the opportunity finally came to audition for the untitled Leslie Odom and Kerry Washington pilot, the showrunner said, I'll let you audition if you're funny. Send me your stuff. So that reel of all those Instagram videos, I put it together and he said, yo, you are hilarious. So Saladin Patterson gave me my big break and I got in the room and surprised everybody. And then from there, it's just been a journey, kept working and kept climbing.
And one of the things you're known for, your film debut is Eddie Murphy's Dolomite Is My Name, a really big hit for Netflix and was nominated and won multiple awards. So what was it like working on that movie and with a talented cast?
Oh my goodness. Everybody poured into each other. It was like everybody was there to have fun and excited to see Eddie back on the big screen, right? So everybody showed up and did their best every day. And I think the biggest influence I had was working with Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah.
He legit is a comedic legend. I remember in rehearsal, he was still on book looking at his sides. He had to do this gigantic monologue where he's like low key like checking me because I'm not respecting the film. And he wasn't off book. And then 20 minutes later,
Yeah.
he delivered the greatest monologue I've ever witnessed. So it's like I'm always in the room. Whenever I'm in the room, I don't like to be the smartest. So that said, allowed me to be the dumbest person in the room and just glean from everybody. And I think that actually added to my comedic chops.
Absolutely. And along with FUBAR, do you have any other projects you have coming up that you can talk about?
Right now I'm just writing a movie for myself. I know with the writer's strike, hopefully everything, gets worked out. But yeah, I'm just writing. It's a movie loosely based off of me and my brother, where it's like basically two guys from the hood who's never left the hood actually become treasure hunters for the first time. And it's called Searching for
Hmm.
Mrs. Gold.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. And with your work behind the camera, and do you want to do more directing down the road, or have you done directing?
I've done directing in smaller formats
Yeah,
as far as like shooting a lot of sketches for all my TikTok friends and Instagram friends and influencers. But yeah, directing definitely is a big thing. I really look up to Tyler Perry and his model, where it's like, hey, I created this thing and now I'm going to create jobs for other people and tell the stories that are close to my heart.
absolutely. And obviously you work with Arnold Schwarzenegger, been in a movie with Eddie Murphy. Who are some of the actors that you would like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Who would I like to work with? All right. Number one on the list has to be Will Smith.
Mm.
When I was in 12th grade, I actually had a chance to co-host TRL with Will. And, in between takes, I would crack jokes. And then 2 days later, he was like, yo, I'm taking some kids to South Africa and make sure the funny guy goes. And I was like, oh my God, Will Smith knows my name. So he took me to South Africa, got a chance to meet Nelson Mandela. And that really allowed me to believe that dreams are real. So if I could work with Will and have that full circle moment, mind blown. Two guys from West Philly. What could go
Of
wrong with
course.
that? And then
Absolutely.
to add to that, I guess a few more names just throw in there. Love working with
Yeah.
greats like Jackson, Viola Davis,
Mhm.
comedic legends like Will Ferrell, Kevin Hart, and also Ryan Reynolds.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And last question for me before I let you go is obviously your career is on the rise, but do you have any other goals that you've set for yourself as you move forward?
Oh, absolutely. I public speaking and writing a book. So I had a
Mm.
son 5 days before I had my chemistry with Arnold, and I started writing down quotes and lessons that I wanted to share with him that I wish I knew growing up. So it's letters to my son, and so I want to be able to take that and share my story of brotherhood and my story of triumph with kids around the world because I feel like stories are what makes the world go round, and you never know who you might impact.
Of course. Well, Milan, I really enjoy FUBAR, and it's now streaming on Netflix. I wish you luck for the rest of your career. Thank you so much for your time. I really do
Oh man,
appreciate it.
appreciate
Of
it.
course. Yeah. And continued success to you.